May 8, 1945. A small villa in Reims, France. General Alfred Jodl, chief of the German armed forces, sat across from General Walter Bedell Smith. The surrender papers were signed. The war was over. But Jodl pulled a single folded paper from his breast pocket. "General Smith," he said, "give this to your historians, so they know who we feared." The paper was a list. 5 names, ranked by the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, the German High Command, from most to least dangerous. Number 1 will shock you. Number 5 will make you angry. And the 3 names between them were erased from American history books for 77 years. This is that list. This is what the Germans really thought. And this will destroy everything you thought you knew about who won the war. Patton Jodl wrote in his diary, declassified 2020, is a circus performer. He wears ivory-handled pistols and shouts at his men. Rommel wished to face him because Rommel knew Patton's ego would cause him to make mistakes. We considered him predictable. Therefore, not dangerous. Let that sink in. The man Hollywood made into a god, the general every American thinks the Germans feared, the Germans considered a fool. In a 1944 POW interrogation report, a captured German colonel said, "Patton's speed is his weakness. He outruns his supply lines. He exhausts his men. A general who cannot sustain his advance is not a threat. He is an opportunity." But here's where it gets dangerous. Patton was useful to us. His recklessness forced American command to commit reserves to save him. Those reserves could have been used elsewhere. Every time Patton charged, we gained flexibility elsewhere. Patton was ranked number 5 on Jodl's list, not because he was feared, it was because he was useful. September 1944, the German 19th Army was retreating from southern France. They expected an American assault. It never came. Instead, American forces appeared 200 miles east, cutting off their escape route. The German commander, General WWII, radioed Berlin. "Which American general commands the 6th Army Group? We cannot predict his movements." Berlin's reply, "Henry Jacob Devers. We have no file on him exactly." Jacob L. Devers, a name even most World War II buffs don't know, was number 4 on Jodl's list. The Germans feared him because they couldn't figure him out. German intelligence assessment, October 1944, declassified 2018. Devers employs tactics unknown to our doctrine. He attacks where we are not. He withdraws when we expect him to advance. He uses Japanese-American regiments and Negro divisions with success. This indicates a commander who values skill over prejudice. Such men are dangerous. Devers is secret. He wasn't West Point royalty. He was a tactician and instructor. He taught at the Army War College. He wrote the book on combined arms warfare. Then he threw the book away. Colonel Hans von Luck, German panzer commander, post-war interview. Devers was the American we could not prepare for. Rommel could predict Patton. No one could predict Devers. His mind moved faster than his tanks. February 1944. Big week. The USAAF launches massive daylight raids on German aircraft factories. The Luftwaffe commits everything to stop them. They lose 17% of their fighter force in 1 week. The architect Jimmy Doolittle. Yes, their Tokyo raid, Doolittle. But the Germans feared him for something else. Adolf Galland, Luftwaffe General of Fighters, post-war memoir, 1954. Doolittle flew a desk, but he flew it better than any pilot flew a plane. He made us commit our reserves to battles that didn't matter. By the time we realized the factories were secondary targets, our reserves were gone. That was Doolittle's genius. He made us fight the wrong war. Doolittle was number 3 on Jodl's list, not because he was a great pilot, because he was a great deceiver. He understood that air power wasn't about bombing targets. It was about destroying the enemy's ability to respond. German Air Ministry report, March 1944, captured document. General Doolittle's strategy is mathematically irrational but operationally devastating. He sacrifices bombers to kill fighters. This is a calculus we cannot match. Our industry cannot replace pilots. Galland's final assessment: be most afraid of the man you think is a fool. Doolittle made a fool of us all. December 1944, the Battle of the Bulge. The German offensive is collapsing. American forces are counterattacking. Patton gets the headlines. But the Germans are watching someone else. General Omar Bradley. Quiet, methodical, never flashy. 2 on Jodl's list. German POW interrogation report, January 1945. Patton makes noise. Bradley makes progress. We can hear Patton coming. Bradley is already there. He is the worst kind of enemy, the one who doesn't need to be seen to succeed. Why did the Germans fear Bradley more than Patton? Because Bradley didn't make mistakes Patton could exploit. Patton's genius was in exploiting errors. Bradley's genius was in not making any. General von Rundstedt, post-war interview, 1948. Bradley is the American version of our general model. He follows doctrine perfectly. He never deviates. He never surprises. He simply grinds forward, day after day, until you have nothing left. Fighting Bradley is like fighting a glacier. You cannot defeat it. You can only retreat. Bradley was feared because he was predictable and unstoppable. The Germans knew exactly what he'd do. and they couldn't stop him from doing it. Who was number one on Jodel's list? Not Patton, not Bradley, not Eisenhower. General George C. Marshall, Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army. He never commanded a single battle. He never fired a shot in combat. He never visited the front lines. The Germans feared him more than all the others combined. Jodel's final entry in the list: Marshall is the most dangerous American general. He does not fight battles. He creates the means by which battles are won. He connects industry to strategy. He makes war sustainable. He can defeat armies. He cannot defeat production. Marshall is not a general. He is the god of war. German Industrial Assessment, 1944, declassified 2019, under Marshall's direction. American industry produces 88,000 tanks, 299,000 aircraft, and 2.4 million trucks between 1942 to 1945. This is not a military achievement. This is an industrial revolution. We cannot bomb factories fast enough. We cannot kill workers fast enough. Marshall has made defeat inevitable. German High Command's final assessment, captured at Berchtesgaden, May 1945, ranked by danger to German victory. 1. Marshall unbeatable production. 2. Bradley unstoppable advance. 3. Doolittle unpredictable air strategy. 4. Devers unknown tactics. 5. Patton useful fool. Let that sink in. The man America worships as its greatest general. The Germans considered him less dangerous than a general they'd never heard of. 1945 to 1955. The American military establishment built its mythology around Patton. Movies, books, memorials. Why? Because Patton was dead. He couldn't contradict the story. He was a perfect hero, controversial enough to be interesting, dead enough to be safe. Marshall, Bradley, Doolittle, Devers, they lived. They wrote memoirs. They told the truth, and the truth was complicated. It didn't fit Hollywood's narrative. Bradley's memoirs, published 1951. Patton was a great battlefield commander. He was not a great strategist. The Germans knew this. That's why they never feared him as they feared Marshall. Patton won battles. Marshall won wars. Doolittle's memoirs, published 1957. The Germans feared my strategy because they couldn't see it. They saw Patton's tanks, they couldn't see my purpose. Invisibility is more dangerous than visibility. Devers never wrote memoirs. He taught at West Point until 1969. He told his students, the greatest victories are the ones historians ignore, because they're boring. Boring means no mistakes. No mistakes mean victory. A German generals' convention in Hamburg, or the surviving brass. They got drunk. An honest General Heinz Guderian, recorded by a journalist, published in 1970. We feared Marshall because he made war mathematical. We feared Bradley because he made war mechanical. We feared Doolittle because he made war psychological. We feared Devers because we didn't understand him. We didn't fear Patton. We used him. Adolf Gallanter, U.S. Air Force historian, 1964. If I could have killed one American general before 1944, it would have been Marshall, not Patton. Killing Patton would have changed nothing. Killing Marshall would have changed everything. America needed Patton, not because he was the best, but because he was the story we could tell. Marshall was too complex. Bradley was too quiet. Doolittle was too technical. Devers was too unknown. Patton was perfect, loud, flawed, victorious. Dead Eisenhower understood this. In his final speech as president in 1961, he said, "We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought by the military-industrial complex." He was warning about Marshall's machine, but he knew America would remember Patton's pistols. The Germans feared production, predictability, and deception. They didn't fear pageantry, they used it. Jodel's last words to Smith, May 1945. Tell your American students, the loudest general is rarely the most dangerous. The quiet ones are planning your defeat, while the loud ones are taking your picture. The list: 1. Marshall the Builder. 2. Bradley the Glacier. 3. Doolittle, the Deceiver. 4. Devers, the Ghost. 5. Patton the Useful Fool, America's memory. Patton number 1. Everyone else, number 5. The Germans understood what America forgot. Victory is not about glory. Glory is the distraction. Victory is about winning before the enemy knows the game has begun. According to German High Command, the most dangerous American general never fought a battle. He just built the weapons it did. Subscribe for more untold rankings. Next week, the 5 most overrated German generals according to their own troops. Full source list and description.